Hi guys, welcome back to Mdapra YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew this simple crop top with a flared skirt. It is so detailed and beginner friendly. If you're interested, please watch till the end. For this tutorial, I'll be using this Ankara print you see here. The first thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to draft on my pattern paper. After drafting, I'll go ahead to cut on my fabric. The first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draft on my pattern paper, and I'll be drafting for the front and the back at the same time. So first I'll go ahead to draw a straight line which is going to serve as the shoulder line. Next I'm going to go ahead to insert my shoulder measurement on the shoulder line. So I'm marking my shoulder divided by 2 at this point. Then I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, after which I'll insert my armhole depth which is 8 inch. Next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw my armhole depth line like you see me doing in the video. So next I'm going to go ahead to draw the neckline. So this blouse I'm making does not have a zipper, and the front and the back is going to be the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead to mark a neck width of 3.5 inch and a neck depth of 3.5 inch, after which I'll go ahead to draw a simple round neck with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. Then I'll go ahead to draw the shoulder slope. After doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert the full length of the blouse I'm making. So for me, the length of the blouse I'm going to be making is 18 inch. So you're going to go ahead to insert whatever length you want to use as the length of the crop top. Next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to extend the line like you see me doing in the video. After doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to do is to insert my bust measurement on the chest line. So I'll go ahead to insert my bust divided by 4 and mark. After marking this, I'm going to go ahead to add 2.5 inch for all my allowances. I'll be using 1 inch for ease, and 1.5 inch is going to be serving as my sewing allowance. Next, I'm going to move over to the waist, and I'll be marking my waist divided by 4. Then I'll go ahead to add 2.5 inch allowance also. After which, I'll connect the chest line to the waist using my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after doing this, I'm going to go ahead to draw the armhole. So the armhole I'm drawing at this point is going to be serving as the back armhole, because I'm going to be using the same pattern paper to cut out for the front and the back. So this armhole right here is going to be serving as the back armhole. So for the front armhole, I'll go ahead to divide my armhole depth by 2. So here I have 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then I'll go in by 0.5 inch. After which I'm going to go ahead to draw the front armhole with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So this line I just drew is going to be serving as the front armhole, while the other one will be serving as the back armhole. So basically this is what the crop top is going to look like. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to cut it out, and I'll be adding a sewing allowance of 0.5 inch on the hemline and also on the shoulder line when I'm cutting on my fabric. After cutting, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to go ahead to cut my fabric using this pattern that has been drafted already. After I was done cutting my fabric, this is what it is going to look like. I went ahead to add a sewing allowance of 0.5 inch on the hem and also on the shoulder line. And also I cut out for the front and the back at the same time using the same pattern paper. I also went ahead to cut out my lining while I was cutting my fabric. So if you're not using a lining for yours, you can go ahead to cut a facing that you'll be using to finish up the neckline. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to take off my pattern paper so I can start stitching the fabric together. The first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to open up my fabric like so. Then I'll go ahead to place my lining on it like you see me doing in the video. After doing this, I'll go over my sewing machine to finish up the neckline, the hem and also the side. So if you're not fixing a lining to yours, you can go ahead to cut a facing, or you can use a bias to finish up the neckline of your crop top. So I'll be doing the same thing for the front and the back, after which I'll come back to show you what to do next. So after I was done finishing up the neckline and the hem, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to join the front to the back, and in doing that I'm going to go ahead to place my fabric, making sure the good face are facing each other. Then I'll go over my sewing machine to join the shoulders and the side. After doing that, I'll come back to show you what to do next. So after I was done joining the shoulders and the side, this is what I have. So this is what the crop top is going to look like. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to attach my sleeve to the crop top. So I've gone ahead to cut out this basic sleeve you see here. If you don't know how to cut out the basic short sleeve, I have video tutorials on that, and I'll be dropping the link in the description box. So I'm going to go ahead to attach the sleeve to the crop top, then we'll move over to making the skirt. So for the skirt, the first thing I went ahead to do is to cut out the waistband I'll be attaching to the skirt, because the skirt is going to be having a waistband, and the width of the waistband I have here is 1.5 inch, but when cutting I cut out 4 inch before folding it over. So what I have here is 4 inch, then I went ahead to fold in 0.5 inch on both sides like this. So when you fold it over, you're going to be left with 1.5 inch like this. So this is what the waistband is going to look like. The next thing I went ahead to do is to cut out my fabric that I'll be pleating on the waistband. So here I have this fabric, and the length of the fabric is my waist circumference times 3. So if you want it fuller, you can use times 4 depending on how full you want it to be. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to pleat this fabric on the waistband like so. I'm going to go ahead to pleat the fabric on the waistband. And also the length of the waistband I'm attaching to the skirt is my waist circumference plus my zipper allowance. So when cutting your waistband, you're going to go ahead to cut your waist circumference, then you add at least 5 inch for your zipper allowance, because you know you are going to be cutting it on fold. So what I have here is my waist, then I went ahead to add zipper allowance of 1.5 inch. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to pleat my fabric on one side of the waistband like so. I'm going to go ahead to place my fabric on the waistband, then I'll pleat on it. So I'm going to go ahead to quickly do that, then I'll come back to show you what to do next. After I was done pleating the skirt on the waistband, this is what it is going to look like. So this is what the pleat looked like after I was done pleating on it. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to close up the waistband like so. So I'm going to be closing up the waistband like this. But before then, the first thing I'll go ahead to do is to fold the edge of the waistband like so. Then I'll close up the side with my sewing machine. After closing it up, I'll turn it over to the good face like this. Then I will stitch on the edge of the waistband from this part down to the other side of the skirt, and I'll be repeating the same thing on this part also. I'll fold it over like so, I'll close up this part, then I'll turn it over, after which I'll go ahead to stitch on the waistband like so. So when stitching, make sure you stitch close to the edge of the waistband, and also make sure you use a matching thread while doing this. So I'm going to go ahead to quickly do this, then I'll come back to show you what to do next. So after I was done stitching the waistband to the skirt, this is what it is going to look like, and this is what the inner part is going to look like. I also went ahead to attach a lining to the skirt. So before you start pleating, you'll be placing your lining on the skirt before pleating. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to close up the side of the skirt. So you're going to be having just one opening as the side of the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead to fix a zipper to the upper part of the skirt like so. Then I'll go ahead to close up the lower part of the skirt, after which I will hem the skirt. So I'm going to go over my sewing machine to quickly do that. After doing that, I'm going to come back to show you the final look of the skirt. So after I was done fixing my zipper to the skirt, this is what it is going to look like, and this is what the crop top looks like. As you can see, it's looking so beautiful and very nice. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next tutorial.